Hey guys, Gen Z here. We are talking about side control attacks. So we're gonna talk about the far side arm. I just attacked Diana's near side, so we're gonna talk about the far side attacks. We're gonna talk about where I like to be in a basic side control, chest on chest. I really wanna focus being on the chest, okay, not on the belly. If I'm on the belly, it's not gonna put as much pressure on her. I want to impact her breathing. I wanna make her suffer on bottom in side control, even though I love her dearly. And I do not want her legs coming in. So I wanna be as far away from her legs as possible. That's something in side control when we're traveling around the body. We always wanna be mindful of the legs. Sometimes we have to shift a little bit more towards the head. So here, I'm always trying to fight to get my knee underneath the armpit. I'm gonna get head control, and I want my knee and elbow to connect. Okay, if possible. That's how high I want the knee, because then it can isolate this arm so we can focus on a lot of those near side attacks. I can still do that in the gi. I'm getting an underhook on this side here, and then I'm nice and heavy chest on chest. I can have my other knee checking the hip, or I can have it sprawl back, right? It just depends how she reacts and how she moves. I can always hip switch, do different things, but this is a nice, good, heavy chest on chest side control. I'm kind of smothering her face a little bit with my shoulder, which is great, and that also impacts her breathing. So from here, usually the bottom person is gonna start framing in front. If she does that, okay, I don't want to keep my throat directly into her forearm. That is just gonna alter my voice. So easy fix, just look the other way, right? If it's on the side of my throat, it's not gonna be as bad. I can tolerate it a little bit more. So what I wanna do is I wanna start attacking this arm, okay? I'm gonna use my body to isolate the arm. We're gonna go over our nice little trio of submissions. But I need to get my hand that's under her head around. Oftentimes when we do that, we create a lot of space, right? Or we telegraph this movement. Yep, she's gonna start bringing the arm over. She can stiff arm and she can start shifting out. Or if you just saw Jay's video, you can do the head and arm options, the reversal or the choke. So I need to make sure that my arm's really tight, but I'm also gonna do a nice hip switch, okay? So I wanna kill this arm, this frame with my hip. So I'm gonna come around. At the same time, I bring my arm over, I switch my hip up to a 45-degree angle. My hip is laying on her face and her frame. It doesn't mean that she can't bring her hand to my armpit and try and push, but now with her arm over her head, that's gonna be really challenging. Plus, I'm just sprawled on her, so my weight is really heavy, okay? What I am not doing is I'm not doing this. Okay, you can see I stayed in place underneath her armpit on her chest. I did not change my angle. I need to change my angle to a 45. I'm also not doing this. Okay, I'm not totally getting on my side. I'm just changing my sprawl direction, but I'm changing it up to a 45-degree angle. So now that kills the frame. Okay, so from this position, we're gonna turn a little bit now that you've seen the angle, so you can see this arm. From this position, she's still framing here. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take the back of my hand and I'm gonna bring it to her forearm. Even if she's really tight here, I'm just using it to get some space because it's very hard to just pull the arm down. So I come on the inside. Now I'm gonna use my chest and my body to pin her arm to the mat. My hand pins her wrist and then I flip it over to get wrist control. Now I'm gonna settle back. So my knee comes back under that armpit and I get my figure 4. We've got our good old Americana here. I love hitting an Americana. I get so much satisfaction out of this. So there's 3 levels to this to make it really, really brutal. First thing, I'm gonna bring the elbow to the hip. So I cut the slack out. You can feel how tight it can get on someone's shoulder and they might tap from here. Next phase is revving the wrist away. And now I do another hip switch and I'm gonna lift my elbow towards her hip, which is gonna lift her elbow, and I'm gonna paint the mat with the back of her hand. And there's our nice tap, our finish. Okay, so we were here, I've got this, I'm gonna cut cut the slack out, rev, shift my hips, always staying heavy. I am never giving her any space. And lift. Now, if we're here and my partner decides to straighten the arm, I'm gonna come out over the arm to catch it. This is a big timing move. So now we're going for our straight arm lock. That's the response, right? We're here going for the Americana. She's like, I don't think so. She's gonna straighten. So I don't wanna stay here, and you can see my body's back. This is really hard, like, to control her elbow. She could bend any which way she wants, right? And then we're gonna be playing this game. So when she does stretch out, I'm gonna bring my body out, staying heavy, not lifting weight, and not overcommitting so that she can use the momentum to roll me. But now my chest is really controlling her elbow and the inside of her arm, so it's pinning it. What I'm gonna do here is take my wrist and force that thumb to stay in this direction towards the ceiling. I've got her at a 45-degree angle. This is gonna lock in the arm lock better. 45-degree angles are gonna be better than here. It's easier for her to bend. So I've got a nice angle here that locks it in. I'm gonna keep my hand on my bicep, not my forearm. If I go to my forearm, there's no blade underneath her elbow. So I'm gonna come up, expose my blade, gripping my bicep. My forearm and wrist are right underneath her elbow towards the tricep. Remember, not towards the forearm. I'm gonna walk my elbows in to give some height. If I'm flat, I can't really submit her, right? Because she's close to the mat, there's no space. So I need some height. So from here, I'm covering with my chest. I'm going to push down on her wrist as I lift my arm towards her hip. So let's have Diana turn a little bit so we can see this one more time. We're here, she straightens the arm, I follow it. I force that thumb towards the ceiling, got my bicep control. I'm covering her arm. I've got height with my elbows. I'm gonna push down on the wrist, and then I'm gonna lift my elbow towards her hip. So this arm lifts up. You can also use your head if someone has a really long arm and your chest does not cover that inside of the elbow. I can use my head too to help pin. Now, when we're going for our straight arm lock from our Americana, you notice I can keep my same figure 4. When they go to make that third bend or angle, same thing if they were going Kimura to straight arm lock, I'd still have that same figure 4, but that third angle, I need to switch my arm configuration. So from here, she bends down. I'm hugging, so it's kind of hard for her to make a grip to defend, but I need to trade my arms because I can't get the figure 4. So I'm just gonna lift, bring in my top arm underneath and trade it. Now I take that inside hand and almost come into like a one-armed Kimura, but I'm just using this right now so that she doesn't grip her pants or her belt, right? I'm just kind of making an angle and keeping her the distance, right, from her arm to her body. Now I can come in and grab my wrist, and then I'm gonna get my figure 4. Okay, I wanna force this 90-degree bend, and I'm gonna bring her elbow towards her shoulder to cut out the slack. You can see my elbow is framing against her body so that she cannot grip her pants, right? I'm creating this barrier. From here, I'm gonna army crawl out. My chest is going over the forearm. This is a Serafin special. My coach Jeff Serafin taught me this one. I love this option. It's super heavy. So from here, a lot of times people just try and finish like this, but it's hard to lift someone's body and they can use the mat to defend. So I'm out over her arm. I'm on my toesies right now. I can rock forward. And then I'm gonna do a big cobra stretch. I'm gonna look straight ahead and I'm gonna puff my belly to lift her up with me. I bring her arm with me and her elbow towards my shoulder, and then I bring her wrist towards the back of her head for the finish. I know I had a lot of talking there and a lot of pressure on Diana, and she held out just so you guys could see that. So thank you.
Such good pressure.
So great. So we've got our Americana, we've got our straight arm lock, and we've got our Kimura option. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks.